When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thanks for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Dan got a haircut. Jameson's here. He got a haircut. I got a haircut. Spring cleaning on our heads.
Yeah, we should just get like a podcast rate.
Ooh.
Kevin got a haircut too last week, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he didn't have a hat on.
Yes, I think he did.
So like we should just get like so Greg, if we cut Greg's hair for charity.
Are you wearing that hat to brag?
No, my brother got me this for my birthday.
There was like 3.
Yeah, 9 home runs.
Yeah.
3 by Judge. He almost had 4.
Yeah. Wait, when was your birthday?
My birthday's Thursday.
This Thursday?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So like after the podcast, he calls me and I go, I can't talk right now. I'll call you after. So I called him on the way home. Hey, did you get a box? I'm like, well, yeah. I go, I thought I didn't open it. I go, I didn't remember buying anything, but my wife buys a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So it could be hit or miss.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, yeah, I got you something, but I didn't want to say nothing. I'm like, okay, so you're calling me to tell me that you got me something, but you didn't want to say nothing. So this is in a Bills hat. A real nice Bills hat.
Yeah.
Like my summer Bills hat. I already have it picked out. So it's cool. The only thing is with white hats, though, is you sweat. It gets all yellow around the.
Yeah.
So I gotta be selective. It can't be a super hot day.
But the Yankees, what were they, like 3 home runs right back to back?
Yeah. So I'm listening to it on the radio.
Yeah.
And Tim Kirkton from ESPN.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the game on MLB radio on Sirius, and he's a real baseball geek. And he's throwing out all these stats off the top of his head. I don't think this has ever happened before where the first 3 batters of a game and the first 3 pitches all hit home runs. I have to look this up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Goldschmidt, who they just signed, who's never hit leadoff before in his life. Then it was Cody Bellinger. His father was Clay. Then Judge. And the Judge hit 2 more.
Yeah.
They had 9 home runs, and they still had to pull their pitcher before the 5th.
Yeah, I know.
Fried had a rough day. His defense didn't help either.
I'm a little excited because I had the final 4 correct.
Did you really?
In my bracket.
Well, you got 2 of them so far.
Well,
there's 2 more coming. You gotta wait.
Okay, you're right. I had who do we have today?
Today you got Michigan State playing against
Auburn.
Yeah.
So I had the Elite 8.
Yeah, and you got Tennessee playing against
Houston.
Yes.
And then last night was Duke, Alabama. I picked Duke to win that, and I picked Florida, Texas Tech, and I picked Florida to win that. And it didn't look like Florida was going to win that. Texas Tech was playing them pretty tough. But that Duke, God, I have never seen a college player, and I want to get somebody in who's a little more basketball savvy in terms of, just knowledge and stuff. But that Cooper Flagg, I mean, his game is like, he plays with ease and just an ease and flow.
Like he could literally go up and dunk in your face and instead just lays it up.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to embarrass you.
No, he's not.
He's 17, Billy.
He's 17.
He's 17 years old, or he's turning 18. This is a year where he's turning 18.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like he's going to be in the NBA. He won't be able to go to any bars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kobe
he'll be like cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, but wow. I mean, that kid is like legit.
He's fantastic. His mom's good looking.
The blonde lady?
Yeah.
And
she played D1 basketball too for Green Bay.
Separated?
If they're not together, probably.
I don't know because I thought they kept showing somebody who I thought was his dad, but I was not really paying attention to that part of the game. And he was sitting like in like a row in front of.
Oh, okay.
Unless you don't want to sit next to her because she gets. I don't know.
Usually couples sit together.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So,
yeah.
Unless the dad doesn't want to be bothered. Like I know some like dads who are like just go off on their own during games.
Yeah.
They don't want to be bothered by anybody, including the wife.
Yeah.
So it could be that situation.
I don't know. He was sitting close enough. I thought, but I couldn't tell. But I mean, the kid seems really well poised.
Right. And then I'll go to the NBA and get ruined.
You think so?
Gosh, they're a bunch of brats. Like, if you like, I don't know if this is true. I wrote a column about this.
Here we go.
Well, no, I'm not trying to.
Here we go.
The AAUization of basketball. Like, in other words, like Adam Silver has let like the old commissioner, David Stern, ran the league. The players didn't tell him what to do. He and the owners dictated terms. Adam Silver's pro player, and they've ruined the league. Like attendance is down, ratings are down 50% over 12 years in a LeBron era, in the Golden State Warriors era, in the 3-ball era. So instead of why? Because you got a bunch of kids who didn't go to college trying to tell the commissioner how to run the game.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Nobody finishes college. Nobody goes to class. But they're all like, at least in football, they got to go to class for 3 years. They're not playing.
Yeah. Well,
even if they're taking basket weaving, they still got to show up.
Yeah, they got to show up, or they're get a lot of tutors on the road,
right?
And stuff like that.
Right.
But
basketball,
there is
it's like, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Carmelo. Do you think Carmelo Anthony went to class?
I have no idea.
We know he did because there's people who said, "Oh, I sat next to Carmelo," except he wasn't there.
Oh, Danny, I had 3 15-year-olds in my place last night. You know how small that is.
Slumber
and
party.
It wasn't exactly ready for them, and I had a bunch of stuff going on yesterday, and I'm running around, and I woke up this morning, there's those bodies, like one on a chair, one on a couch, one on somewhere else, and I tried to give them enough time to like move around and do their thing, and then I got up later in the morning, like 8:30, and I made them French toast, and on they went with their day.
Well, good.
Yes. And
those people need their carbs.
Yeah. You know, are people, and I can't tell if it's always this time of year or what, but it feels like people are edgier.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with the, Sammy, I could tell you why this is happening.
Okay.
I just caught myself. Well, no, about a couple of weeks ago, the clocks just changed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's spring is here. We've had several different versions of seasons over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We've had summer, we've had spring, we've had fall,
yeah,
we've had
and
winter.
We're going to do it again.
Right. We're going to do it again
this week.
So like everybody's like hormonal patterns are changing and their blood pressure is changing. Your liver and kidneys have to adjust to all that stuff. I think that causes problems up here. Down south, though, that's just normal.
Yeah.
They love this time. This is their summer.
Yeah. It's nice.
Once summer hits, they're all inside because it's so freaking hot.
Well, I just keep seeing. Last week we had a story about a guy who was caught urinating in a woman's water bottle.
Okay.
And gave her an STD as a result. Because he put everything in there. And I was shocked to realize this, but she caught him. She set up her phone on camera. And then here we go again. Another story.
He must have been doing it regularly.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Well, okay. It wasn't like he just did it a one-time thing.
No.
I have a feeling someone's peeing in my water.
She went and she said she took it. It tasted sour and smelled weird. And she's like, oh, my God. And then she was making coffee and she didn't trust the water at work anymore. So she was bringing her own in. And this woman said to her, she said, oh, use my water bottle. I have filtrated water from home and we'll make coffee with that. And she goes, why is it yellow? And the guy had taken it. Yeah, I don't know. Oh. And think about how angry you have to be to carry something out. Like we've all gotten angry at people at work, or there's people we don't like that rub us the wrong way. You would avoid. But to go that far seems
actually like pull the revenge card.
And here's another one. A guy was caught on camera tampering with his coworker's drink by adding an unknown supplement to her. She had cans of Coke, and it was later found to be super glue.
Does it work?
I don't know. This is the thing.
Supplement.
Like, I don't know.
You know me. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, it says
make my muscles get bigger.
The authorities discovered latex gloves and glue remnants in his office, leading to his arrest and charges that could result up to 38 months in prison. No one knows that. But I go, what drives an employee to commit such a bizarre act? And I think this woman was starting to feel sick to her stomach and didn't understand why. And she too then set up a camera and sees the guy walk over and squirt something in there and then leave.
We think
who would put super glue, and what happens when you eat super glue?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what would you milk?
I don't know.
I'm sure some people listening to this podcast or on this podcast would enjoy me swallowing some super glue.
Yeah, but it's about power and revenge is the only thing I could think. But but no one could, we don't know the whole story.
Right.
Like, what is this woman doing? You can't do this. It's not normal.
No,
it's not normal. But I'm wondering what would actually happen if someone consumed super glue.
Would you get
I don't know,
anal fissures?
Could have.
Well, on the way out. Is that what it's called when your butt sticks together? I don't know. I have no idea.
Shitting a statue.
Yeah, there's
You know what I mean?
There's the torch. There's Lady Liberty.
I mean, it could cause severe harm. I don't know if it's more of like a scare tactic. I don't know if there's a little bit of something. There's a little bit of bad stuff I think we consume every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just go read a label. If you can't pronounce it or recognize it, it's probably bad for you.
He was trying. You know what? I would say this guy was really trying to create a bond with his coworker. That's what he was trying to do.
I just want to get closer to you, baby.
Just want to get close.
Didn't Tommy Mulet's mother always say we all swallow a pound of dirt before we die?
Yes, probably. Somebody did say that. I don't know if it was.
I credit to my mom, bro.
Because you go, what invisible threats are lurking in your workplace relationships? You know, now you work from home.
My cats.
So that's it. And so
up.
I wonder if that office dynamic's gone away. But there's a more of a mandate, a back to work mandate.
Since Jamie Dimon spoke up all of a sudden, well, Jamie Dimon's making his people come back to work.
It's one of these things where, if you're Jamie Dimon or whatever, you have this building, this physical building.
Well, yeah, in Boston, I have to deal with it in recruiting because most of our people are in Boston,
right?
And they have these huge, like Oracle and all these companies have these huge offices. No one's in them. They can't do anything with them, so they have to justify having the building.
Right.
You got to come back to the office, bro.
Right. Well, look, I got to think that commercial real estate took a huge hit, and I'm not sure if it recovered or not.
Apparently not in Rochester because they're building stuff left and right.
Well, I would say I got to get out of the house. I can't. I couldn't do that. And all through the actual COVID itself, my life. I'm telling you, I'm one of the few people in my life did not change because my kids weren't with me at the time. Jameson did not live with me. I still went over to an establishment. It was closed, but we would go in and clean the floors and stuff and have just a freaking riot. It was like hanging out in a treehouse with a bunch of guys. But I had to go to work every day. I had to be physically in. And I had some kind of FEMA card and something in case I ever got stopped.
You were an essential worker.
Yeah, I guess I was essential. I was
officer. I'm essential.
But you think with people coming back to the office, all of a sudden, do we know how to interact with these people? You got to dance around them a little bit. That one prick, now he's really prickish. Yeah, he's been home for a while. I don't. How would you react if you discovered that someone was sabotaging your?
Well,
and I knew people who.
I would go to HR. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Like if you discover someone you trusted was capable of such a calculated harm to you.
And by the way, there's different levels of trust, but you trust the idea that you trust the idea that your coworkers aren't going to spike your drink.
Yeah,
I mean, just common courtesy.
Trust. I'm such an idiot.
I trust that the guy driving across from me is not going to swerve into my lane, like regular, common, everyday trust.
Like I would leave everything, my phone. I leave everything out when I work. I didn't.
Johnny didn't grab your phone and put it in his pants and take it. Oh, check this out. Bill's gonna love this. Ching.
I
forgot how it works.
I should have
couldn't figure it out.
We used to do that in camp, with the disposable cameras.
Yeah.
No,
what's this? A moon? Because you miss.
Yeah, but this guy did get busted because she set up the camera knowing that something was going on.
Oh gosh! Yeah. So she didn't even have a clue who it was. It was just some dude.
No. I got it. Well, according to the news, let's put it this way. I think you have a pretty good idea that something's going on. If you set up a camera and you try to catch them, you know that something is going on. She said it smelled like chemicals. All of a sudden her drink started. And yes, super glue's got a very chemical-y smell. But you have to know, I'm going to set up a camera to try to find out.
Yeah, because it's happened over and over. It didn't taste like this when I left the house.
I think she left immediately and found a police officer on the street and showed it to him. They came in.
Got the guy.
Yeah. And
this is entrapment.
Well, then they find the gloves and the super glue. I don't understand. What do you hope to do? Because I can see, in Wedding Crashers, when they reach across the table, Owen Wilson reaches across the table and puts Visine in his wine or something, and it gives him the shits.
Yeah,
like that I could see happening. because you couldn't even see the Visine.
Yeah, he was feeling vulnerable.
And you wouldn't really smell it either.
No.
But you would.
Was that what Visine does? Visine gives you or was it a special formula that he put in through a Visine bottle?
No, I think it was Visine. I think he dropped Visine in his, or some kind of eye drops.
If you need a laxative, that might be a good way to do it.
That might be a great laxative. A great laxative. But yes, that is what they.
So in pro wrestling, Macho Man Randy Savage, everybody, oh yeah, he was very paranoid. He was very paranoid about Miss Elizabeth. He would lock her in his dressing room. He said the wrestlers will try to be jealous and they'll try to hit on you. Yeah. Well, he wasn't that far off. There are hundreds of stories of guys taking dumps in each other's bags that they didn't like.
Really?
And they would call them a shake and bake. They would take the dump in the bag and they actually would cop to it, like in later podcasts.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, like there was this one female wrestler named Medusa. We actually interviewed her when she was a monster truck driver, and like X-Pac once took a dump in her bag, and she saw it. She didn't sell it. She didn't act like she. That's the whole thing. If you want them to respect you, don't act like it bothers you. But that was the thing. They would take dumps in each other's bags if they didn't like them and stuff like that. Oh, they would do stuff like that all the time. There's another story about two guys you and I worked with. One we worked for, another guy we worked with, who now are in Buffalo, or one's in Buffalo still. The other one was in Buffalo.
Okay.
They made the Buffalo news because their radio station, apparently, the morning show guys did not like the co-host who was working from home. They hated her. The producer and the host, okay? Clay and Company was his name. He was the big wig on the country station.
Okay.
He didn't like his co-host named Val. This is all public record. And she was at home on an ISDN line because of the COVID stuff. And they did not realize, dumbasses, that she could hear them on the ISDN line talking crap about her.
So she
how much they hated her. Yeah.
She taped it?
She taped it.
And then played it back on the air?
Oh, no, she didn't play it back on the air, but she like went to the bosses and.
Yeah. And they get fired?
No, like they moved her to another station. He never got fired. Nobody got fired. But one of them got in trouble because he warned this girl not to come to work there. And then another one got in trouble because of something else. Now, nobody got fired, but
that's
the point
not
was
shitting in your bag or putting super glue.
But those are the types of people you got to be aware of because what if she were in the studio?
I don't know.
If you can't talk smack about her, then like if she were in the studio.
I worked with people that didn't like somebody on a show, and
was it me?
No. Okay, and good. When they when people would order breakfast, this person would ask for just egg whites and some kind of stuff. And this person would go, give me drenched in butter, blah, blah, blah. And then the person would go, oh my God, these are the best egg whites I've ever had. But she didn't want any of that stuff.
Right.
And this guy would do it because he was just a prick. And that was it. There is it is a psychology thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you
but that's harmless though.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's power. It's a power thing. If you have a milk allergy and you're putting butter all over, but there is some way. I think that it's a very human thing to want the power dynamic in any relationship, right? You don't want to feel like you're being used, and you don't want to feel like you're being taken advantage of, and you don't want to feel like. And sometimes you'll get mad about things, or someone will say something to you, and so you decide to react to it, and it gets dumb. And then you end up super glue or taking a dump in someone's bag. God, that's so that
it would happen routinely.
That would be something that I would have done had I ever thought of it. Had I ever thought of that, I would have totally crapped in some of the guys' football bags.
We interviewed a guy named Eric Bischoff, who was the head of WCW, and when WCW imploded and was sold to WWE, he had a lot of enemies. He had a lot of friends, but he had a lot of enemies. So WWE decides a few years later bring him into WWE as a surprise. They didn't tell anybody. So he walks out of the set, and guys like Ric Flair and others are like, oh my gosh, I hate this dude. I don't know why he's here. What's going on, right? And somebody goes, where's his bag? Where's his bag? And even Eric heard them say that. Like, where's, like, they were going to like,
and they were going to dump it.
They were going to dump in his bag. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
He knew better.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that was a thing.
All right. Now here's I watched the first episode, and I don't know if I should be embarrassed to watch this or not, but it's sort of interesting, of Paul American. It's about Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
Oh, okay.
And I think, is Logan in the WWE now?
Yes.
Is he liked, not liked?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if he's liked, or I know he was an Intercontinental or a U.S. champion, which of course they give those to you. It's not like you win them.
Yeah.
It's fantasy. But yeah, he's a champion of some sort, or he was. But I mean, he does all the moves. I mean, I think he's earned the respect of the locker room.
Okay.
You know,
he's all, I mean, they show his chest is up. He's all beat up. looking. But
guys, when you walk in the WWE and you're not a wrestler, you're like, unless you're a boxer and say, hey, look, this is just going to be for play, then they respect you. But if you want to actually compete, you'll take your lickings. Like when Ronda Rousey came to WWE, the female wrestlers were like, okay, we're going to show you how it really works.
Yeah. Well, I watched it and I didn't know anything about him being on there. And, father's a bit of a hothead, but they were trying to this reality show, and you got to hand it to these kids. I mean, they jumped on the internet in 1995 and made a bunch of stupid videos, and they became famous. And there you go. There's a trend I don't believe you would take part in.
Okay.
A trend where someone who is on this podcast fairly regularly, I think was ahead of their time. Ahead of their time in terms of this trend. And we will get to that right after this.
Migo. Talking to me crazy, nigga. Been having that shit on, nigga. Dripping to the floor, to the door, nigga.
Never mind. I didn't know. I will edit that out completely.
There's this video going around of a French comic who watched shows with that word in it in subtitles.
Yeah.
And they would replace it with the word friend. So
Oh.
he thought that was the word friend when he came to America. I realized very quickly that's not what it means.
I was trying to play the song Trendsetter, but I didn't realize it had a bunch of
friends.
Yeah, bunch of friends in there. Danny was just telling me that he passed a protest outside a Tesla dealership.
Yeah, in Henrietta.
I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm not really exactly sure. I guess I kind of know why they don't want Elon making all these cuts and different things. Okay. I have no idea. I have paid very little attention to that stuff. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't ever like actual physical destruction. It makes no sense to me. I mean, somebody bought something, you don't agree with it. The greatest thing you can do is just not support it.
Yeah.
Just not support it. I think one of the coolest things I ever witnessed, not ever witnessed, and I shouldn't say that. That's not true. But something I thought was kind of cool was when COVID came, there were mandates and things, and some restaurants were opening up, but you had to show your Vax card. And the owner was very good friends with somebody, and that person said, he goes, "You're not vaxxed." He goes, I can't let you in. And he was all called up and goes, "I'm really sorry." And he's like, "Nah, no problem. I'm not getting vaxxed. I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rock the boat." And you hear about the lady that keyed the truck and I go, why? Or the people that are lighting them on fire. And I don't know why that stuff just really, really does not sit well with me.
No, it's awful.
I don't like that because there's no point. I understand you want to go out and protest, go out and protest. That's fine. You're allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't destroy somebody's property because of who knows what. But if you like electric cars, Danny, I am driving maybe one of the coolest cars I've ever driven. I'm going to say one of the original muscle cars, okay, or maybe one of the world's most powerful muscle cars would be the Dodge Charger.
Oh, yeah.
I am driving the fully electric Dodge Charger.
Oh, wow.
And so an electric car doesn't make any real noise. But what they give it this throaty thing. So when it fires up, it goes boom, 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 and they even give you you can dial through on this car, and it gives you an option where you can idle, but you got to be in a certain mode. It's got everything. It is unbelievable. It is one of the coolest cars, and it's so quick. I mean, these electric cars, right? They're really, really quick. But it's the next gen Dodge Charger. I would suggest, if you have any interest, even just to test drive it, check it out, get to Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Fully electric, huh?
Fully electric.
Have you pulled up
100%.
Alongside Chief Barnes here in Fairport?
I have not.
Because you sneak right up out of it. It's so quiet.
Well, you can, but I keep it. I like that throatier sound because I need to hear it too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, some of these cars, look, it's so funny how electric cars have come. When we started out, it was mostly the Prius, these tiny little electric cars. We made fun of people that drove Priuses and did this. And now it's like we've got Cybertrucks. You see now that's one that I look at that Tesla Cybertruck and I go, it's the most unattractive looking thing I've ever seen, but good for you.
It looks weird, but Party's like, yeah, I want to drive it though.
Oh yeah.
I want to try it.
Yeah. I do, but that's the so if you want to get out there, the next gen Dodge Charger is
it's like when you get out of the Cybertruck, people yell douche, you're like, yeah, and yeah, you're right.
But why? I don't like that whole thing.
I don't get it either. Like, I don't support. Listen, I hate protests in general, and I hate violence on stuff. Like, I hate like this violence towards Tesla, just like I hate bombing abortion clinics. It's wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's so simple. But yet, for some reason, people feel no, this justifies it. No, it doesn't. Nothing justifies it. Nothing justifies violence.
No, and besides that, it's still part of the economy.
Right.
You're hurt. Whatever.
You're hurting yourself, man.
There is a trend that
college basketball teams, ATS. So
no.
Oh, okay.
No, why? What was the trend?
I just put a bet in because of foodie. So just gave us a tip.
What was the tip?
The tip was it's irrelevant now that people are listening. But there's a couple of college basketball tips he gave us. So
okay.
Yeah. He's been giving us tips. He's been on and off, but he's been mostly on.
Yeah, he's really good at this.
He is.
He
does
really,
his homework.
He does study this.
Like the 1 year he barely beat me in picking the football games. I just went with like my instincts.
Yeah.
He actually had like charts. He had spreadsheets. You know.
Oh yeah, but he beat you.
He did.
Yeah.
But this year, we're
But
gonna
I just went with my gut.
That was before AI.
Okay. Well, AI may help. This is strange. I'm not sure that this is really a trend. I don't know what gets called a trend, and I see different things like the Tide Pod Challenge years ago. I didn't get that as a trend. I don't know why you would want to do it as people were getting sick. Didn't somebody die?
Yeah.
As a result
Oh,
of
yeah.
the Tide Pod Challenge?
I think Race and Randy thought it was a Tide car challenge. He took one of his die-cast cards that said Tide and put it in his mouth.
Well, the latest unconventional relationship trend is called hot wifing. Would you like to take a guess at what?
Mark. But Mark's never been married, though.
No. So
is that why it's hot wifing? Like you think somebody's wife is hot and you like to try the menu, sample the menu. Is that what that is?
Wow, you nailed it. How did you know this
well,
so well?
You said it was somebody who's a frequent contributor on the podcast.
I did say
right?
that, yes.
And he said hot wifing.
Yes.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, who do we know who has verbally
said that they
like certain people's wives?
Well, this is now that person that you're referring to would only watch, not participate.
Yes, he wouldn't participate.
This involves husbands watching their wives with other men.
Oh, so cuckolding.
Well, it's like a modern cuckolding. And people are.
I don't even think you need the word modern. It's just cuckolding.
Well, I think people are insisting that this strengthens trust and intimacy in their relationship.
They'll use anything to justify it.
It's a weird.
I can't do it.
I know.
Well, we know people who actually participated in this who gave up on it because they realized it doesn't work.
But this isn't that. This is because that was a swinger.
Yes.
Yeah. This isn't swinging. This isn't going both ways. This is like, I mean, if you read this article, there was a guy going, yeah, I mean, I just love seeing her defiled is the word he used by another guy while I watch. And a lot of the guys, what they're finding are porn stars. So it's your wife with a porn star while you sit courtside and watch. But I go, how is this a trend and who's doing it? And if it's such a trend,
how come we, right? We don't find out more about this.
Although
it's not like
I did hear a story once in my long career behind a microphone. I did hear a story about somebody who did that for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Somebody we know?
Yeah. Not that you know.
Okay.
But yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And now whether or not it's true, I have no idea. Really don't.
Somebody I may know of.
Yes.
Okay.
But I go, yeah, I don't know, man. Monogamy in the age of social media and adult content is a stranger thing. Because I mean, our relationship's evolving. Or is this just the next step in a cultural, I don't know.
There was a viral video that went off in Instagram this past week. It may be old. I don't know. It's a dude at a Buffalo bar or a Rochester bar. I think it's local. And he's at a bar. I think it was O'Callahan's. And he sees this couple. Guy's got his arm around his girl, but the girl's making out with another dude.
What?
Yeah. And the guy looks back at his camera like, what?
Okay. Well, okay, so here's the question. Is adult content so easily available now that there are segments of the population that are desensitized
and they're just going to go do it?
And that's how they find pleasure.
Apparently.
I mean,
well, because they keep pushing the envelope so much that now they have to like keep chasing that dragon. Like it's never enough. Their dopamine hits. That's why people like Jordan Peterson are against like self-pleasure and and pornography and those types of things, because you keep hitting that dopamine button over and over again. It wears out. So now you have to go to a greater reach, you have to go to a greater pleasure to hit that dopamine, because now your dopamine levels are depleted.
Well, marriage is all about compromise. For some people, it's Netflix. Sometimes it's going to the grocery store and buying certain things. For others, it's
we're gonna have a nice little Saturday at BJ's.
It's watching your wife live on a Brazers video or something.
Is that what they call it?
I don't know. It's something like that. Yeah, because would knowing your partner was with someone else make you feel more secure in your relationship? I would think for most people, no, or would it shatter everything? And I'm thinking it shattered. These people say it strengthens it. We communicate better.
Right now.
We love it.
Right now.
I watch. I sit and watch.
Right now.
I can't believe he's in here. Do you want to say anything about this?
Jameson. He looks stunned.
I forgot that. I thought you had your headphones on. I was hoping you had your headphones on. I thought you had your headphones on.
Sorry.
What do you think of that?
I think it's weird to be a cuck.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
He's right.
I don't.
No, he's right.
It is.
What is wrong with what he said?
I don't know. Nothing. It's just. I don't. It's a weird. That's why I'm saying they claim it's a trend. I'm not seeing how could.
Well, but like a lot of people say something to like promote it. Oh, it's a trend right now.
Yeah.
Like read the New York Times. They contradict themselves more times than you can imagine.
Oh, no, I'm serious. Based on,
dude, look at the titles. Like they put up hey, today the New York Times is saying this. A year ago they said this. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, a lot of newspapers do this. It's based on whoever the opinion writer is
at the time,
or
right?
the point of view that they take. But it's like people will try to say something is a trend that isn't really a trend. It's
I don't know. This was they
want to say it's a trend.
Yeah.
Because like who do we know right now in our lives, just our everyday lives? I'm not talking about I know so and so who knows so and so who does this.
One guy in this had his wife wear her wedding dress. So like you know what I'm saying? Like, and it sounds like, but here's the thing: if this could be the greatest advertisement for their OnlyFans page.
Okay, great.
I got to think that there's an OnlyFans page somewhere where a guy watches and you watch the guy watching. Like you could watch the
like
guy.
on Twitch?
You see it all, but you get to watch the guy watching as well. It'd be a weird.
Well, that's
thing.
what YouTube has become now. Reaction videos to people's videos.
It's
videos about videos about videos.
Is that true, Jameson?
What?
A lot of reaction videos on
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
No.
Well, Jameson watches some interesting stuff, like a kid who was the kid who like traded, let's say, a paperclip.
Ryan Trahan.
Yeah, Ryan Trahan. What does Ryan do?
Like, I don't know. He does a lot of stuff. I don't know.
Well, he traveled and he tried to stay
He travels. He does first class. Like, he goes all the way from economy to the highest level. He goes around the world. He goes to different Airbnbs.
He gives a review. It's pretty educational, actually. I
like to watch. I don't really like Castanet like that. I like Blackboy Max. I used to watch Blackboy Max before he was all famous and stuff.
What does he do?
He like I don't know. He was just like a Twitch streamer, and he would do reactions. And then he started getting into music. Like he was always like in the underground scene, like of rap, and not like underground, like you guys know. Like there's a different underground, and he used to be in that little scene. And he started kind of getting connections, and then learning how to make music. And now a lot of his streams, he just engineers for different artists.
Okay.
Like he just had Will Smith in.
Yep.
Do a whole song in one take.
Wow. Look at that.
Will Smith's still singing, huh?
Will Smith is
he was the first rapper to ever win a Grammy.
Yeah, he's trying to make a bit of a comeback. He is making a bit of a comeback. Actually,
he's got to rebuild his.
He is image. Doing it. I mean, he was the non-villain and to absolute villain, right? Into absolute villain. So that's interesting. All right. So hot wifing, not something you would be into, not something that I would want to be into.
No,
either.
come on, no. No.
What if your wife?
For other people on the
what podcast, if your wife came to you and said, "Hey, I'd like to try this dress"?
There's the door. Sorry, that's not. Nope. She would never do that.
No, I'm sure not.
No, she loves me.
Listen to this news story, though. Talk about disturbing. And again, I do wonder if this is all the result of, like I say, the world is designed by geniuses to be run by idiots, right? So now we've got guys who get desensitized to stuff. This is, they enjoy getting off on it. The wife wants a little variety in her life. She gets to do it. They make films. It sounds like at some point it would be soul crushing to me. At some point, I would feel like at some point you would just start to loathe yourself. I would have to think. But this story may really shock you.
27-year-old woman from Marion County is facing charges for sexual acts involving a dog. Logan Gominski was arrested Friday and found.
Now, what kind of dog do you
How
think?
old was she?
27.
Okay, 27.
27.
Not that it matters.
She's of age. And then in dog years, I think the dog might have been of age too. I don't know.
The dog was a senior citizen. He was a rhino.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it a cougar?
So what kind of dog do you think this would be? What kind of dog, if you hear that headline, what
A
kind of
female with a dog.
Yeah.
I want to say a Doberman.
A Doberman. Okay. Yeah. All right.
On with her dog in custody. TV20's Deja Clayton is live tonight at the Marion County
They had to go
Sheriff's Office.
live?
And Deja,
Oh, yeah, they had to go
what
live
happened
for
to the
this.
animals?
Well, animal control did not take possession of the dogs on Friday.
Dogs.
What?
Dogs.
Dogs. That's right. Dogs.
County officials tell me they'll need a warrant to take them. According to the arrest report, 27-year-old Logan Gaminsky admitted to filming a sexual video with her pet chihuahua.
I knew that was the swerve. I knew it had to be a swerve,
It
Billy.
was a chihuahua.
Those are feisty.
She says
Those are
that-
feisty
Yes.
animals.
Yes, they are. They can get mean.
Someone
Yeah.
asked her via Snapchat to film the video in exchange for $500. She also admitted to filming another video with a separate dog. Detectives received an anonymous tip in late January and saw the 32.
An anonymous tip in late
Hey,
January.
but you're not gonna take my name, right? Hey, I know this woman named Logan. She's 27. She's making videos about banging her dog. Wait, wait, I need to call animal control. Okay, what's their number? So you don't handle this.
With the chihuahua. I spoke with Detective Jordan Batts of the Special Victims Unit here at MCSO.
Special victim.
Dun dun. Wait. Law and respect. Dun dun. Dun dun.
She tells me they saw multiple dogs at the residence when they made contact with Gaminsky.
So I saw the dogs when I was on scene. There was a total of 6 of them at the residence.
6 dogs. She had a brothel. Those dogs were sluts. My God.
So we saw them all. They all seemed to be healthy and happy in where they were located.
Okay, healthy and happy. They all seemed healthy and happy.
They-
Sure they were.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have the equipment to stick anything in the dog. She just covers herself with peanut butter and they get a treat.
Right.
And by the way, we've all known dogs that have gone through the garbage. Have we not? We have known.
We know a guy
right,
who had
right?
a dog who he told his girlfriend, hey,
Yeah.
listen, you're going to have to take your underwear and put it up somewhere
because the dog would
dog
eat the
will
underwear. Right. So you think that this dog's got the greatest snack ever.
As of right now, I believe they're still at the house. I can't speak on that. But as far as I'm concerned, they're safe.
County officials say animal control needs a warrant to take the dogs. However,
Okay.
court records don't show a warrant filed. Kaminsky spent one night in jail after posting a $10,000 bond. She is scheduled for
Who got
arraignment on
hurt?
April 22nd.
The dogs
Live
were
in
healthy and
County,
happy.
Deja
They got
Clayton,
protein.
News.
Look, there were probably
Also, the reporter seems like she's so like above having to
well,
do
I'm
this.
sure. Yeah. Well, probably
Very
doesn't-
milquetoast
or
reporting.
she's trying not to laugh. But I've seen dogs where they
She's
have gone
alive.
through and just a natural form of life, but there's a tampon used in the garbage, and the dog eats the entire thing, and then is running around the yard with the string hanging out its ass as it's trying to poop out the you know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. That's all I'm saying.
I guess.
Is it normal? No. Is it something I would? No, you probably shouldn't have a dog. I would say that you probably shouldn't. But
Did they get a look at this woman? Did you get a look at her?
did I get? Yes.
Not attractive.
No, not. I wouldn't expect this. But
Well, we say this about, we at least do once a week. We'll do a story, maybe twice a week about, hey, I didn't expect this 29-year-old teacher and this student.
no. But you kind of go the dark side of digital platforms, even back to the hot wifing. Are we seeing too much stuff to the point where we're desensitized, or
Yes.
or are there people we can see anything and she can make money? She can get a quick $500 by covering her.
Yeah, it's the oldest profession in the world with technology now.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, we are desensitized.
and then so people start. So
It's called chasing the dragon.
well, there's encrypted apps, right? Like Snapchat and stuff. And of course, people start to go, well, I mean, is this on the tech company? I don't think so. I mean,
No.
the tech company's doing what they can. We hear about people with in
Right.
Facebook. We're in Facebook.
You're gonna
jail.
blame City Mattress for people having affairs?
Yeah. Yes.
Or Jim Schofield, get that City Mattress
You know,
feeling.
it was so funny if they had a long, a class action suit.
Yeah, you're gonna blame hotels?
Yeah.
Yeah, take me to did I ever tell you about the time on Valentine's Day I took a couple who lived in separate houses to the 490 motel?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh
when I
yeah.
was a Lyft
Ugh,
driver.
God.
Like I think they're having an affair.
Oh, $4.90 motel.
Yeah.
Oh, and maybe they weren't. Maybe they were just. Well, maybe they were. I just don't know. You can swiftly arrest somebody. Why can't you get the dogs out of there? You know.
Well, no, like.
And by the way,
so I know.
What if would you adopt this dog? Yeah, it's a perverted dog. It's always coming up to your crotch, sniffing your crotch.
I know people who would.
It's humping the pillows on the couch.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, there's these animal lovers who will rescue anything.
I
mean,
understand, but this is
that is a stretch for me. I'm not a dog person at all, but oh gosh, I mean, yeah. Ugh.
But then you also wonder, like, when you're making content, what would make you go?
So we're calling it content.
Well,
it is what it is.
We're content creators, right? That's what they are. And I go, is the pressure to stand out in a saturated, adult-oriented content industry driving people to cross really ethical and legal boundaries? I wonder, because I think the way this woman got in trouble was she put a clip up on Instagram and Snapchat, and people were buying it from Snapchat. But there's all kinds of platforms we don't even know about.
Yeah.
There's a good one.
The dark web, right?
Yeah, well, it's not even the dark web. It's just the web.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so much shit out there that you can make money. But I mean, man, we talk about desensitization to stuff.
There's a band in town called
in Florida. It's man's best friend. Takes on a whole new meaning.
There's a Florida. Gonna play WTF. Whether you're Texas or Florida.
Yeah.
There's a band in town called The Taint. That's their name.
Yeah.
They've been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
And they have a song in there.
It used to be Tickle the Taint.
Yeah, that was their website when websites were a thing.
Yeah, but I think that was the original name. And then they shortened it just to Taint.
And they have a song called Your Mama's on the Bangbus.com.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, this is going back 15 years.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, this has been going on for, like, there are, like, websites dedicated to this type of stuff that you could probably, like, but now with OnlyFans and all this other stuff, now you don't need to, like, go to the website. You could just go right to the, right to the platform.
Right to the person.
Boom.
I mean, if you want, you can probably, she's, drumming up business.
Mm-hmm.
Who needs to work nowadays? Somebody's going to pay you $500. Is this the only time I can think of that Chihuahua was involved in a crime that wasn't excessive barking? That's the only thing I can think you could get a fine for your Chihuahua that wouldn't shut
Well, in this case, they're the victims.
Yes, that's true. Imagine paying $500 for this video.
Special victims unit. So they got to bring in special victims. They got to bring in animal control. How many different? Hold on. How many different TV?
$500. I can watch my friend's dog hump the couch for free.
How many different shows could you actually could this story be a part of? Okay, HBO Real Sex, Animal Control, which is a show on Fox, SVU, which is a Law and Order show, any cop show, like Cops or Brooklyn Nine-Nine or whatever, right?
Yeah,
this has all of them.
Now look, we've talked about two things here that we could maybe blame on desensitization, the internet. Excessive stuff. You can see anything now. We get to see the weirdness of people. It used to be hidden, but we also get all this information. I mean, these are good things to know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just saying you're up on it now.
Yes.
You know about hot wifing. I'm dying to know if someone does hot wifing in town, and would they talk about it?
Well,
would they talk about it? I would. Yeah, please. 585-206-8866, because I would love to talk to somebody about that.
So would Mark.
Well, and my thing is always, and it has always been this way, I love talking to people that do things that a lot of people feel are taboo, me, including me. Like, I couldn't do this, but I'm interested in the psychology. Like, I used to like to, when I had gigs at a strip club or whatever, I used to sit and talk to the girls because it was interesting to me. Like,
what brought you here?
Well, yeah. And
what brought you to this point?
But it's always like, it's an attention thing. You want the attention and you're not getting it somewhere, so you come here. And there are guys that, I mean, I knew a guy who would escort these women, became like their bodyguard, would carry their bags, would go with them everywhere. It was sad in a way to me, but not to that person.
Right.
They seemed very happy.
They thought it was a dream job.
They were super happy. And I go, it's just a whole different mindset. I find us as human beings and the variety of people to be so interesting. So interesting. Like even this lady, Well, why was this a good
What
idea?
led you to this idea?
Well, I mean, money. Probably. She got, I guarantee this isn't the first video. There's got to be tons of videos. And, you know.
Well, here's the thing. I want to see, like,
What if
besides
you ever
her,
get those
forget
mixed
her
up
for a
as
second.
family videos? Something else. Oh, my gosh. Merry fucking Christmas.
Now I'll show you a
Why
picture.
did you ask for a
I'll show you a picture. Oh, wait, not that
pallet
one.
of peanut butter?
Not that one. Okay, not that one. Not that one. Oh gosh, where was I going with
I
this?
don't know.
You said like we're interesting. Okay, take her out of the equation. Take the dogs out of the equation. I want to know, number one, who wanted to pay the money to actually see this?
Well, that too.
And number two, who actually thought enough of this to call the cops? Like, oh, these dogs need to be rescued.
Right. Okay, but hang on a second. If you saw this,
But first you had to see it.
right.
You had to be curious
but
enough to see this.
No. I think it came up in the like for you on Instagram. Let's say you're innocently going along.
So you're one of those people.
Maybe you're innocently going along and you had no idea and you see this. Are you calling the cops? I don't think I'm getting involved.
No.
I think I'm telling everybody I know. I'm sending people to go look at this to make sure that I'm not hallucinating. But I don't know that I would call the cops, which is pretty bad on me. I still feel like getting involved.
No.
The dog seems happy. It's getting fed. You know, like I said, that's all I can think of.
I'm sure everything's fine.
All right, let's take a moment. The underdog mentality, Daniel.
Yes.
The underdog mentality. Has the NFL been doing it wrong for so many years? Because when we think of some of the bigger names, the underdog mentality. We'll get to that right after this.
Who let the dogs out? 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 Who let the dogs out?
Well, the party was nice, the party was pumping. And everybody having a ball. Until the fellas started name calling. And the girls respond to the call. I have a boy shout out.
Who let the dogs out?
This is like kind of an insulting song when you think about it, right? It's about calling women dogs.
It is.
I think.
I you know what's funny is that it's one of those songs that was a one-hit wonder that everybody makes fun of now, but everybody was all about when it happened.
Yes, of course.
Like Ice Ice Baby. Yeah, I wasn't into that. No, you were. You had the hammer pants. You were into it.
Somebody asked on our, you can type in if you were watching the stream, you can join the conversation. What if the dog wanted to be choked, Dan? Going back to earlier, put some in Daddy's Red Bull. Might I say, might slow him down. Visine was forced to change its formula because bartenders would use it to get rid of a-hole customers. I never knew that. I never knew that. As a thing.
Well, how did they figure that out?
I don't know. My glasses are crooked. There we go. The headphones sent them off. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty weird, right?
Yeah. So like now, like my eyes is. I mean, this stuff used to work. No, it doesn't. I wonder what happened.
I don't know. I can't imagine that would have made news, right?
Yeah, I think. But then again, you know, if it doesn't fit any agenda, it's not going to make the news anymore.
No. Okay. I'm not sure about that.
Well, think about it. Okay.
I'm not sure about that. What's the agenda? You get all bent out of.
I'm not getting bent out of shape. I'm just stating an observation.
You get all. You know who I think does the best news, honestly? There's a podcast that I'll grab every once in a while, and I have no reason to promote it. But I think they do a really good job. Let me just see. I want to get the title of it right. But it's just news. And they just report the news. It's like all your big trending stories. News pod. Let me just see here. I think it's called News Now. Might be NPR's News Now. And I know that NPR, people go, well, but it's not. It's like really straight down the line. There's no anything. And it's good. It's like 15 minutes, all the big stories of the day.
Okay.
I think they do a nice job.
You know what's weird is that like on my browser, you'll type in something and it says news on the right, news from the right, news from the left. I'm like, that's so sad. It should be like that. Just give me the news.
Where is this?
Like on the browser that I use, Firefox, I'll type in a story like a news story.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't know this. I have to type it in. Is it news from the left? News from the right? No, I don't want that. I want the news. Give me the news. I'll make the decision.
Here's some news. The Buffalo Bills have signed cornerback Christian Benford to a 4-year, $76 million contract extension, keep him through 2029.
Yeah, he gave them a heck of a deal. That's a hometown discount.
Originally,
if he would have waited, he could have gotten a lot more.
A 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
6th-round pick out of Villanova. We think Villanova is basketball school. Should we start thinking?
Yeah, they're a 1AA football school.
Yeah.
So you got to give Brandon Bean's crew credit for that one.
He exceeded expectations, earning a starting role and outperforming former first-rounder Kaiir Elam, who was recently traded to the Cowboys.
I just never got a chance as a first-rounder.
But let me ask you this, the underdog mentality. And I don't know if it's an underdog mentality. I can't think in other sports where it would be, because basketball, usually the top picks do very well.
Usually it's only the top picks.
Huh?
It's usually only the top picks. If you go back, I asked Grok the other day, give me the top 50 or top 100 NBA players and where they were drafted. And it gave me a list. And most of those guys are drafted pretty early. There's a couple like Joker, who were like the last pick in the draft, or Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was 15th. But they're mostly, guys
top 10.
top 5, top 10 guys. Jimmy Butler was a 30th overall.
But you look at like late round picks like Benford,
Mhm.
right? Outperform highly drafted players. Is it like just what is that? Is that something in them? I'm watching.
I think it's because they're 22, turning 23, and they grow into their bodies and become big men.
Okay. I mean,
think about all the players, Billy, who made a leap from rookie year to their second year.
Right, but I think
that's the leap you want to take.
But a lot of those guys put in the time, to
they're
get to that level, they're putting in the time. So that's a ridiculous thing to say. But
they got a different regimen now. They're professional. They can spend all their time on it.
Is scouting overhyped?
Yes. I think scouting is overhyped.
Because some players just thrive under the right system. We could say, could Josh Allen have been what's his name, who went third in that draft and was with the Jets and then the Panthers? And
Sam Darnold. I think so, but then look at the cool thing with Allen was that they knew he was a project when they drafted him. So they set the expectations really low. Look, we're not going to start this kid immediately. We're going to let him sit. Well, that lasted all of a half.
Yeah.
Nathan Peterman was so bad. All right, it's the Allen era, second half in Baltimore. It's rated. Kid, it's all yours. And remember this first game he started against the Chargers?
Bad for Nate.
It was,
what was it, six? What
Nate,
was it?
5-pick Peterman. Five-pick Peterman.
Against the Chargers.
And all the guys at WG, we're so excited to watch this guy play.
Was it the Chargers?
Yes.
And they were still
in front of 15,000 people. No, they were in LA, but they were in a soccer stadium.
Oh, I thought they were
Remember
in San Diego at the time.
They were playing a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
They didn't know where to put them.
Right.
But yeah, it was awful. It was awful. And all the pros, Western Batavia, this is going to be great. Oh, yeah, sure it is for the Chargers. But they did baby steps with him. They brought in a special offensive coordinator just to work with him. They put him in touch with Jordan Palmer just to work with him. By the way, so did Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, all these other guys work with Jordan Palmer. But Allen's the guy it took to. Right. Allen, I mean, Allen wasn't one of these kids who was told like Baker Mayfield or Johnny Manziel from 8 years old, you're going to be a star. 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 No, he just was awesome in high school and went to a junior college, sent out a bunch of email. Okay. He got a scholarship or two, and he went and he did the most with his ability. And then they're like, okay, this kid just needs coaching. Whereas all these other quarterbacks were going on this program. Now, I'm not saying either one is wrong.
No.
What I'm saying is it worked out for Allen because he landed in Buffalo. If Allen lands with the Jets and Adam Gase, who's a nut job,
right.
I don't know that it works out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So the system's right. But we've got this. There is an underdog mentality. Mentality. Look at Tom Brady, probably the biggest underdog.
Greatest example,
right? Great example of that. And you can find more examples, I believe, in the NFL. I often wonder: is it guys who, in some way, are not banged up as much, but they're still playing the game. So I can't, even at lower levels. Too.
I mean,
lower levels.
The Navy SEALs have a saying, I guess, that when you have an injury, it becomes a magnet. And that's kind of what happened to Tiger Woods. Whenever he was training with the Navy SEAls, and he got hurt, and he kept getting hurt over and over. Yeah, and it's so in football, it's the same way, and you have to be able to overcome that. Like with most players, Benford, this is probably his last contract. He might get another one, but he's not going to get the same money in his next contract that he will in this one. Only quarterbacks, offensive linemen, and stud edge rushers get a third contract typically if they're good. Everybody else gets a second contract. The shelf life in the NFL is very, very short.
It is. Well, not for long is what we say it stands for. But when you look at these guys, they're still playing a high level of football. Villanova, what did you say it was?
Well, Howie Long went to Villanova. They're a 1AA school.
Yeah.
Another or a FCS. So they're not going to be playing for the Sugar Bowl or the Rose Bowl or the Cotton Bowl.
Are we underestimating programs like that? Where they're,
not necessarily
scouting future pros?
Not necessarily. I'm going to give you a stat that's going to blow your mind. You can look this up. After the third round of the draft, okay, if you look at NFL rosters and take away everybody who's taken in the first 3 rounds and just look at all the players in the NFL, there are just as many, if not more, guys who went undrafted in the league than there are guys taken rounds 4 through 7.
Really?
What does that tell you about drafting? What does that tell you about scouting? What does that tell you about coaching?
I think it tells you that some guys, it's a crapshoot, 100%, but I think some guys, it's a whole mentality thing. And I do wonder if the underdog mentality, I'm even watching the NCAA tournament. They're talking about Florida having some great basketball players because they were elsewhere.
Yes.
Right. This coach got them to all work together, but they did 2 years in another program. And this one guy goes, I have a chip on my shoulder. I knew I was good enough to be here. No one was giving me a chance. I went somewhere else, and then I came back.
And they did. And you want to know how they got there? Money.
Well,
Ching. Yeah, they got well at somewhere else and somebody else offered. I mean, that's the big joke right now this year is that this is the money tournament, right?
Yeah.
When I brought back to the first segment, AAUization of basketball, we have a possibility. We don't know right now, but as of the time you're listening, we may have four number ones in the Final Four
right.
for the first time in like 10 years. And
Yeah.
it's only the second time ever in history.
Wow.
Why? Because they spent all the money. All right. It's
To get all these players,
now last year and the year before that, UConn, which is not a Power 4 school, won back-to-back national championships. So this may be a fluke this year, or it could be the new normal because of the money. All right. So that's the thing. But if the NIL is good for anything, if they're going to pay guys to switch schools, they now will stay in school longer and get more developed.
Right.
So they'll be more mature and ready to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
And in football, you already have that built in for 3 years. But I'll give you another example of an underdog. Okay. Your Super Bowl MVP. Jalen Hurts, right?
Yeah.
This dude, if he had just come out of Alabama, he probably would have been drafted in the 5th or 6th round. He had to go to Oklahoma and become a stud in Lincoln Riley's offense to get drafted as high as the 2nd round, and then came in as a backup in Philadelphia and then grew and matured into becoming the quarterback.
I thought he was he didn't graduate at Alabama?
No, he went to Alabama. He got replaced by Tua in a national championship game.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then he eventually replaced Tua at one point, I think, too. I mean, they bailed each other out, but he wasn't going to get drafted. They said, look, transfer out. Your eligibility here is over. Go to Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley's an offensive genius because they don't play defense in Oklahoma.
So
now
was he, what do you mean his eligibility was up?
Like, in other words, like he had exhausted his eligibility. He could have transferred for one more year, but he couldn't play at Alabama.
Okay.
Or I think they may have had, like, they were just going to give the team to Tua anyway. So he transfers on to, I don't know if it was an eligibility issue or if they were going to go to Tua. So he goes on. He wanted to play every day or every Saturday. So he goes to Oklahoma and he wins the Heisman.
Yeah.
Why? Because he had the numbers. Because he played in an offense that threw the ball every single down.
But it got to really highlight his talents.
Right.
Too.
So then he rose in his draft stock.
But then, okay. So here's the thing: is it smarter then to do for teams to pay big money to homegrown talent? Let's say Jalen Hurts, homegrown talent. In that, right? He comes in, he sits behind somebody. He works his way through.
Most teams do that.
Or chase new talent, even through free agency. And I'm thinking the homegrown only because you've got them in the system and you can see who's doing well in your system. Kyer Elam was not.
He was not.
Benford was.
That's the NFL models that you have to draft well and you have to like keep your guys as much as
for
you can.
long-term success.
You have to try to keep your guys as much as possible.
And then try to get the new guys to adapt in.
And that's what the problem is. The last two. That's why the Bills have to hit on this draft because their last two drafts have been.
Yeah.
Now 2022. Bedford's draft, other than Elam, who they whiffed on in the first one, they nailed the rest of the draft. That's where you got Khalil Shakir.
Right.
That's where you got James Cook. Well, okay. But the 2023 and 2024, they did not do very well.
You watch these coaches, right? And you think, how can someone be like that all the time? And when I say that is like this positive, bringing in, they've got like a sort of a code, and you're only seeing them at certain times. Maybe they're not. But I go, I feel like I would fall off in some way, maybe get lazy. I don't know, as a coach. And I'm even at the high school level. Like I went to Jameson's basketball banquet, right? And it was really for the varsity and the JV, but they invited the other guys. But you had to pay some money. But to me, it was worth every penny because the coach is, I believe he's the 17 and under Olympic coach now.
Okay.
As well, but he's been involved in Team USA for a while, and he's talking, and he gave like 5 minutes on each varsity player, like our friend Mark Gruba's son.
Oh wow, okay,
plays and is a star.
Drew.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he gave a whole thing on Drew and all this stuff, and I can't wait to see him in the off season and where like the guy, and you go, how can this guy is like on all the time, Fitch. He is on. He is one of the most. If there's anything, like I know he's sitting here, but I have talked about my strategy with my son coming to live with me was more, instead of telling you what you can and can't do or what I do and don't like, which you have to do at times, it would be more like a matador. Come over here. I think you're going to like this. I'm not going to force you, but hey, kind of lead you in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think that was with the basketball program. I am blown away by this guy and just that whole mentality. And that's what I'm saying. Like, even, we get upset with McDermott and stuff, but to be that way all the time, get these adult men to buy into something,
Yes.
right? Who have their own minds and want to have stats and want to make money and want to have their own images and want to be that. I go, that is like, you got to be something.
Oh yeah, you have to be. You have to
like
be
a psychologist.
You have to be a master psychologist. You have to be a salesperson. You have to be a motivator.
Yeah.
A motivational speaker.
Yeah.
You got to be a good recruiter.
Yeah.
You have to know the game.
I mean, I left that basketball thing going, I want to play for this guy.
Mhm.
I want to come out and play for him because he's talking about, this and how, this one's doing this. And he's going, yeah, he talked about, I guess there was a 6'6" kid and a 6'7" kid who decided not to play this year for whatever reason. And he had the smallest team and they went 18-4. And they did get, but did way better than, but it's discipline and focus and buy it into the system. And it's all of that and really pushing you and guys staying later in the gym and working with them and, seeing this. And he talked about guys, he said this, the guys that put in, he goes, I see guys running like suicides and things after a game and they never got in. He goes, there were guys who got no time and they're the ones doing this. And I'm like, this is insane. But they're all buying into that program and they all feel better. Even the manager got shout outs and stuff. Like the guy was, I'm telling you, it was the most impressive thing. And as we're talking about this and we talk about Benford, I go, yeah, it is the system. You can't, I can't imagine what Rex Ryan actually ran as a system. I think he could be a very good coach and even a good motivator, but he seems like he would be me. After week 3, he's like, fucking guys, you know what you're doing. Yeah, you can go ahead, fellas. Fellas, you got it.
Rex built a heck of a defense in Baltimore that would actually challenge the Patriots and do well. But he had John Harbaugh above him. John Harbaugh retained him as his defensive coordinator. He finished in second place in the hiring process, but Rex always needed somebody above him who actually could see the big picture. Well, when Rex got his chance, his success was because he had 2 of the best corners in the NFL playing for the his defense.
Yeah.
So good for him. When he got to Buffalo, it was like a party zone.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, wasn't he and his brother on a bicycle built for 2 or something, going around to eat?
That was like later, but at one point, during the World Series, they drove the coaching staff. Went to Cleveland for Game 7 of the World Series. They had a stock bar. This is during a football week. They had a game Sunday.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. I can't say one way or the other who's better or who's not. I was just impressed by this, and it made me think as I'm reading about Benford today, and I'm thinking the underdog mentality. And even these coaches, you get somebody to buy in. I always think this: we are capable of so much more than we do. And I sort of get embarrassed because Sean McCarthy from McCarthy's Tents was in here talking about the hoochie-nanny, and he said, he goes, there are a lot of times. I go, well, give me a Sean McCarthy. Well, he's talked about it too. When you drive out of town here, do you go out 31 over the canal, or how do you go? How do you go home?
I take 31 to the 490.
Okay.
Yeah. By Fisher. Yeah.
By Fisher. Okay. So when you go out that way, that's 31F.
Oh, 30. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. 31. That's okay. So when you go out that way, just before you go to the canal, look to your left. You're going to see this beautiful big house with a separate pool house on. That's what Sean McCarthy's building. But Sean said to me when he sat here, he goes, at the end of every day, I go, what else could I have done? What else could I have done? And I go, success and failure are so closely related. It's so simple. But we put all this pressure on it when we like to get fired. I love motivating guys, like those motivating, fire you up, let's go. But I also often wonder, I go, but maybe you don't need to be that way. But I do. I think we underestimate ourselves, we sell ourselves short, and we're lazy.
No, we do. Comfort's the worst addiction you can have.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. Look, I'm not saying don't drive yourself nuts, but
you pay for it now or pay for it later.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
All right,
choose your pain.
We'll take a moment. We'll keep it short and wrap it up on the other side. But I think our friend Vinny left a voicemail.
Oh, did he?
So, yeah.
I love
so
Vinny.
we got to get to that. We got to get to that right after this. familiar with this song?
Is this Clapton?
It is.
Off Unplugged, right?
Yeah.
One of the largest selling unplugs of its time.
Yeah. It's called Running on Faith.
Lately I've been running on faith.
Love the song.
What else can a poor boy do? But my world will be right. Love comes over me.
Today at the recording of this is Eric Clapton's 80th birthday today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I don't think Clapton thought he'd live that long.
No.
Eric Clapton, he turned into a bit of a grumpy prick. He talked to some people, but he used to come to town where we live.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
And,
okay.
what was all over around Decoit at one point, and which is a town. I don't know that he did the House of Guitars. I don't know. He came to see Steve Gadd, and Gadd did a lot of drumming on Clapton stuff, and they were friends. And he came here, and I think he got his hair cut in Arundecoit. And
oh wow. Okay.
yeah. But Eric Clapton
stopped at I Square.
What you think of Eric Clapton, and I think he's the only person inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times.
Derek and the Dominoes by himself, and I believe
It might be with Blind Faith.
Could be.
I don't remember, but yeah, I know he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times, and has had a life that is, I mean, in 80 years, whoa, everything from, and the song Layla is a love letter to George Harrison's wife.
Yes,
basically, and then I think George said something like, talk about hot wifing that we talked about earlier.
Was that the original title of Foreigner's Hot Blooded? Was hot wifing? And they're like, hey, listen, Mick, we got to change the lyrics here.
Yeah, I don't know, but whatever went on there, and then she ended up with Eric Clapton after George Harrison, but they remained, they were good friends. They're 2 of my favorite guys in rock and roll. I mean, it would be, I always think for me, my top 5 favorite guys in rock and roll. Love Keith Richards. Just absolutely love Joe Walsh. And is such a Joe Walsh guy. Eric Clapton was always pretty good. A lot of his songs I really, really appreciated and liked. And then I would say after that, I don't know. It's kind of a crapshoot for me.
See, it's hard just because they have different like positions. There's guitar players, there's drummers, there's singers. So I'd have to categorize them by
kind of be my
their instrument.
3. Yeah.
But you ever see the viral video of Queen Elizabeth talking to? It's George Harrison. I think it's George Harrison or it's Paul McCartney. I can't remember. Brian May of Queen, Jimmy Page of obviously Led Zeppelin, and Eric Clapton, and there's another guitar player in there, and I'm not sure. It's none of the Stones, though. And she goes, okay, what's your name? And how long have you played guitar? And they're very, like, just polite. It's just like, you got these 5 legends standing here. She has no idea who any of them are.
Yeah, I saw
Good for you. That's nice. That's very nice.
I saw a clip of the 1975, I think it was Grammys. And presenting the award was John Lennon and Paul Simon. And then at one point, I guess in 75, Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel had broken up, and Art comes up and John goes, who's this, Ringo? It's like, because they had broken up.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a funny thing. But yeah, I'm trying to think, like, I love George Harrison was another, like George, Keith, Eric, and absolutely Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh was my.
See, you're a big Joe. I didn't realize Joe Walsh wasn't an original Eagle.
No,
he replaced Don Felder.
Yeah,
they fired Don Felder and brought in Joe Walsh.
He made it a rock band. They were a country outfit, more or less.
He was with the James
beautiful
Gang.
music, by the way. Beautiful music.
Well, I think they have more hits than anybody.
Yeah,
they're arguably America's greatest rock band.
Yeah,
because everybody else is British. So,
what are you doing back there?
But I'm not a big Eagles guy. Like, I was listening to Don Henley today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like Don Henley's solo stuff more than his Eagles stuff.
Yeah.
But everybody loves the Eagles.
Right.
You know, they're America's band. Like, man, if I had to, I hate the Mount Rushmore topic, but I don't know who'd be in my rock and roll Mount Rushmore. I'd have to have different Mount Rushmores for each instrument.
I like the personalities. I like the personalities. And I don't know much about Clapton, but I like George Harrison. I liked his vibe. I love Joe Walsh. I told you.
Yeah.
I introduced Joe Walsh at a club in Poughkeepsie. There was supposed to be a comic first. Joe came out, drank played guitar, told jokes, went back, and then came out and did his full set. I fell in love with Joe that night. I was like, this guy is the coolest motherfucker.
See, I love guys like that.
Yeah.
So like the 90s artists were really into themselves. They weren't really like personality driven. They all wanted to fight for certain things, and then they eventually sold out, right? So that's the generation I grew up with. There really were no personalities as far as like just rock and roll and having a good time and just having fun. Or they're dead by now.
But okay, but see, this is the weird thing. You say dead by now. Eric Clapton, super open about his alcoholism and his drug
addiction,
and cocaine and heroin. The guy did everything.
His kid getting killed.
His kid getting killed. He wrote "Tears in Heaven," and right, that song became such an absolute smash hit.
Yeah.
But it was so I can't imagine the pain that you went through of any. The idea that you would outlive your child is just it defies the laws of nature. So in all those things, you go, what an unbelievable life. But how is he still alive? And I know I thought he said he wasn't playing it anymore, maybe arthritis or something.
It could be.
But then I think he is still playing. I can't really get confirmation on that.
It'd be a great arthritis drug commercial.
And I know guys who are near 80, 79, 80 years old, and they're having a tough time just moving. I go, how is this guy who snorted?
Right, done it all. Him, Keith.
He snorted Colombia, a little bit of Peru.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he could snort and tell you the country, the make, the model.
He did all this shit and I think was even in alcohol rehab sometime in the last decade.
He may have been, yeah. At this point, why?
Well,
speaking of that, have you ever like had a list in your head of people like you can't believe are still alive?
No.
Like George Wendt from Cheers.
Yeah.
Is still alive.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Why? He's 70-something years old.
Yeah, but it'd be like he looks like a guy who would have died like of a heart attack sooner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be like Chris Farley still being alive. It's just like with rock stars, like you're like, how is this dude still alive? How are these guys still alive?
I don't know. I wondered that. I wonder that with Keith Richards too. How's that guy still alive? They have a different constitution. Something is very different with them. I have to think. Our friend Vinny left a voicemail. Dare I play it?
Well, absolutely.
I have. This is sight unseen. And I will say the opening line is going to be, "Hey, motherfuckers." Let's see if I'm right.
Hey, motherfuckers. Great show as always. But Google some Visine and see what happens when you fucking get a few drops in your drink. Google that and question me all you want, but I ain't going to send you something I don't know. This is back in the 80s and 90s. I fucked a lot of bartenders, bro. So you want to question me, you go ahead, but I ain't sending you shit that I don't know.
Okay. All right. That was Vinny who wrote that in earlier.
Thanks, Vinny.
I banged a lot of bartenders back in my day, buddy.
Yeah. Was that a tip or was that?
That's how he paid him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thing. All right. Good for Vinny.
I would think like you'd have to be. I had a guy in here. I won't say much about this guy because he's working on a project and he came for advice, and I love what he's going to do, and I love the way he went about doing all this. Is that a fart? Did you just fart?
It wasn't me.
I know it wasn't you, Jameson.
No, I'm saying for the listeners.
Did you? Huh? Okay.
You're saying I'm sorry. You're talking about somebody who's motivational.
So, no, somebody who is in here. They want to do a podcast. They're going to launch a podcast. They've been working on this concept and everything for like a year, building websites, getting trademarks, they're doing it the right way. And they happen to be in the hospitality business and own several big names in town. And but just said like how they wish they stopped drinking and they wish they had that was like that in their 20s because they get so much more done.
Oh yeah.
And it is amazing. Like, you can really see where I love to drink.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Why? I don't know. I've
never had that compulsion.
Oh God, I love it.
Like if I do, I'm the amateur they talk about an amateur night. That's why I just avoid it.
Oh, I turn into a complete raving idiot.
Yeah, but it takes you like 10 or 11 to get there.
Yeah. I know.
With me, it's like 2.
Well, not
because
so
I'm not a drinker.
Not so much anymore. I think like if I have 3, I can start to feel it, and then we have a choice to make. It's time to go home, Billy.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's time to go home, man. Otherwise, you're gonna,
We had a boss, remember, who had a code word for like if somebody at the Christmas party would see you getting a little too belligerent.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Bobby Oswald, put your pants back on. It's time to go home.
Well, there was one Christmas party where they
almost said that to the boss.
Huh?
They almost said that to the boss, right?
I think they did.
Yeah.
I think they sent her home.
Shoes were off.
Yeah. And she was super friendly. My chest got touched a lot.
Keyword super friendly.
Yeah. Well, my chest got touched a ton. Like,
yeah.
She kept going.
And
always my first and last name. Hey. And then this, and then shoes were off and very, very flirty. And yeah. Like, and then whatever. That was also the same night that my baggage got grabbed at the party. Not by that person.
No, by somebody else.
Yes.
Who was it?
Somebody who I used to work with in radio, and I think they were going through a divorce or something, and they were there
Your
with
wife
one
was
of the
there
vendors.
too, wasn't she?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I used to try to. She was talking to people, so she
Yeah.
could see this.
She had her own corner.
God damn! If that ever was seen.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn.
I remember one time.
Oh no! Don't.
No, it had nothing to do with you and I.
Thank you.
That boss who touched your chest. The story was that.
Did you fart again? Oh, Jesus. Jameson, take it outside.
So somebody found an empty Ziploc bag with white residue, powder residue in it.
Okay.
And the boss goes, should we go to the cops with this? And Dem Jones goes, no, are you nuts? No, we should just throw it out. It's like we're like Friday morning or Thursday morning, they're having a discussion about it. He's like, no, just get rid of it.
Jameson, real quick, jump on there real fast. What where you're going to your friend's house? What time am I picking you up?
Like 8.
8? No,
7.
I'm not. We'll
figure it out.
We're gonna negotiate this later. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I gotta tell you.
Parenthood.
No, yeah. Look, the kid is.
He's a great kid.
He is, but
he's 15.
He's 15, and
yeah,
we're in like these transition times.
Yeah.
And stuff, and
yeah, these things are gonna happen.
It's
you got to be protective, but they have their own mind.
Yes.
Do you want my advice, Billy?
But like today, I realized I was out of butter. How do you get out of butter? But I don't use butter a whole lot, so
somebody's using it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way. So I said, hey, man, here's stuff. Walk over, get some butter. I wound up calling twice because they were gone so long. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, yeah, so-and-so had to go to Walgreens, but they didn't have what he wanted. And I'm like, what is happening? I got the French toast made. It's in the oven at 170 degrees, just sitting there and warming, but drying out. Could you get back here? No, that sort of thing. Anyway, I don't know. All right, we played Vinny's voicemail.
Yeah, they found a bag. They found an empty bag of Coke.
Tell me, yeah.
And the boss wanted to send it to the cops to be examined. And
yeah, you don't want to.
People are like, no, what are you doing? No, it was a great party. Throw it away. Let's move on.
What's the tell me real quick about these Yankee bats that I was reading about earlier.
So
today.
apparently they have this. I'm glad they finally invested some money in somebody in that front office that knows what the frick they're doing. But anyway, they came up with this bat, like just everybody can just picture a regular baseball bat. It's not a softball bat that gets narrow like really early, but rather just regular baseball bat. It just kind of gradually gets bigger and bigger toward the end, then it rounds out. This baseball bat seems to be more rounded toward the middle.
Hold it up to the camera there.
Right. So like the bottom one is a baseball bat that is normal, and the top one, the white one or the wood colored bat, is the newly designed Yankee bat that looks more like a paddle in the middle, right? So the sweet spot is a little bit closer to the handle, and it's a little bit bigger and rounder. Yeah. And they think that this is what helped the Yankees with their 9 home runs yesterday, which was a team record on a team that once had Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth in the same freaking lineup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your phone.
9.
Your phone went dark.
Oh, sorry.
But no, it's fine. It's cool. People saw it. It's it is interesting. Will they be outlawed?
By the way, Judge hit one today again too. I don't know, because like if it has the weight parameters, and
so what are we 3 games in?
Yeah, this will be today's the third game.
So he's had 4 home runs in 3 games.
Yes,
or 3.
He's
and
on
1.
pace. He's on pace for 63 this year. It's early.
Yeah, right. Way early.
We got to remember, Judge does get hurt every other year.
Yeah, this could be a hurt year. You never know. You never know.
The Yankees already have 9 guys on the IL, so. But it is cool that they like it. But my thing is, okay, it's taking you this long to develop this kind of bat. Didn't somebody think of this sooner?
I don't know. It must have passed regulations,
Well,
right?
yeah, of course. I mean, it's not like they're gonna rescind the bat.
No, but the bat's got to weigh a certain amount.
An MIT physicist, Lenny, on payroll, invented the torpedo barrel. Brings more wood and mass to where you most often make contact as a hitter, according to Kevin Smith.
So the bat would be built specifically for you, each batter.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow.
The idea is to increase the number of, quote, barrels and decrease misses.
Okay.
So because now in baseball, like, you know how we talked the other day about how like your dad can't follow along and manage along a baseball game anymore because of analytics and stuff. Right. This is part of that. This is part of that. And one of the things is like you see more strikeouts now than ever before. Why? They don't want you to put the ball on the ground. Just up for the fence. Swing for the fence.
Well,
a fly out and a strikeout is better than a double play. That's the idea.
It is fun. Danny did send me one last thing, but I'll mention only because I've lived through this twice, sort of. He sent me, there's a guy at a bar, older guy, not old, but older.
Yeah.
Maybe 60s. In his 60s.
Yeah.
And he's pretending to look at a menu. There's nobody else in the shot on the security camera on the bar. And the guy just starts taking a leak right at the bar, just taking a leak. And you go, the place isn't even full. You could go to the bat. What is that? Like,
I don't get it.
Revenge, laziness. I'm not sure. But I remember being in Nick Tahoe's while in college, and the place is jam-packed in the city, and you're all in there, and we're up against it. And all of a sudden, this one kid just goes, I can't hold it anymore. And he whips it out and just starts peeing right at the counter. And you just see this yellow stream just going down. And I remember being grossed out. And then there was a time, I don't know where I might have been. We might have been driving cross country. So I would have been exactly Jameson's age. And this older guy comes running in, huffing and puffing and running. And all of a sudden you hear, he's peeing as he's running into the bathroom. Like he could not hold this poor old guy. Probably his prostate was going to go. Yeah. But he laughed. And so I'm trying not to laugh. And there's like river size headed towards the drain. But I couldn't get around it. And I tried to hop over it, and the back of my heel hit it.
It's like
and then there was another one that I stepped in, and now I'm getting pissed because I got to get back in a car for I don't know how many more hours with this guy's piss all over me, filled with blood pressure pills and whatever else. I don't know. I was like, that really grossed me out. But I see, like that would piss me off if I'm trying to. I mean, that's like a health code violation and everything.
Yeah.
And I know urine's supposed to be. I get it. I've often and I
ask
always
the woman
say,
who got the STD.
Yeah, that's true too. I didn't even know you could get an STD through that. I had no idea you could do that.
Last night at your house.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I think so. For Dan Barillo, the Yankee fan, with his new Yankee hat and his big birthday coming up on Thursday. Are you doing something nice?
Yes, Saturday. Because she's got like practice and stuff all week for her musical coming up.
Oh.
She feels
come in here Thursday?
Yeah, I'll come in.
All right, we'll have a little birthday
celebrate
party.
with my homies.
Yeah, we'll have a little birthday celebration.
Cool. You don't have to do that though.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
I'll be 78.
Yeah. Metabolic age.
Yeah. That's exactly what.
That's your metabolic age, right? I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you later. Well, since I left California, baby, things have gotten